What we're going to talk about next is how top dealers are crushing fraud, speeding up sales, and slashing costs. So I'd like to welcome up Informativ to help us lead that conversation. And to help with that, I'd like to welcome up Tammy Richter, who is the Regional Sales Manager for Informativ. So please give Tammy a round of applause. You're welcome. You're welcome. Come on over.
I'm going to see if we can turn this a little bit so I can.
Yeah,
I guess.
absolutely.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right. And then this is here, right? It's on? We're good? Hi, everybody. How are we? Good, right? I'm Tammy Richter with Informativ. I'm the Regional Sales Manager, and we're the leading fraud prevention and compliance enforcement platform and credit solutions. Our company serves thousands of dealers across the U.S. I'd like to welcome our panelists. Is it close enough? There we go. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Our first panelist here is Rigo Guevara, and he's the GM of the Toyota of Cedar Park dealership. He's a 24-year veteran in the auto industry. Toyota of Cedar Park has been ranked, third in the last year of 2024. And also, you started out in sales all the way up to GM, right? Awesome. Thanks for joining. By the way, they sell over 1,200 units a month out of that location. All right, our second guest is Scott Cuneys, and he is the Chief Operating Officer of Cuneys Auto Group, which owns more than 40 locations across the Midwest area. He has been featured and shared information on Good Morning America, NBC, and Fox Business. Thank you for joining. We have Doug Fusco. He's the managing partner of dealer compliance with Informativ. Doug has over 25 years in the auto industry, and he is the actual founder of Dealer Safeguards. Welcome. And we have Andy Graff. And Andy, wow, I've got a lot to talk about here, Andy. Let me expand this. He's the Chief Operating Officer with Comply Auto, and they are the #1 dealership privacy and cybersecurity platform. Comply Auto also, I would like to announce, is a new strategic integration partner with Informativ. So we're going to get more into that a little bit later. So thank you for joining. Also 35 years in the auto industry, and you worked at Galpin Motors as the Chief Technology Officer and Vice President of Innovation. So welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get started. Let's start with fraud. We see reports, the news, everything. Scott, tell me, with the rise of fraud, how are you handling that across your 40 dealerships?
Yeah, well, we've definitely seen a rise in fraud, and we have many rural locations, but also we have locations in metro markets like right outside of Chicago, where we were actually targeted by the Kia boys and had vehicle thefts and things like that. So fraud is extremely important for us to combat right now. We're seeing a lot of different ways that these criminals are coming in and trying to take advantage of the dealership. And dealerships are targets at this point. And I have my IT director's from rural Texas. He's got a very thick Texas accent. He always likes to tell us that the bad guys are good, right? And so they are, and they figure out different ways all the time to, defraud the dealerships. And so when it was very important to us to find a solution that we could integrate easily and be able to have a process that every dealership could follow, whether they sold 30 cars a month or whether they sold 200 plus cars a month. And whether we had 2 salespeople in the showroom or 20 salespeople in the showroom, and that we can make sure that even though we're not going to catch everything, we need to still do everything we can to combat it and keep it under control as possible.
Wonderful. That's great. Well, you have the right platform. Doug, would you like to share a little bit more on how our platform can help fraud deals in the dealership and really speed up the process?
Sure. So just to put a little background and support what Scott just said, as a kind of as a bar in the last 24 months, just through our platform, with our customers across the country, we've identified almost 12,000 unique fake IDs. That's just within our customer base. And the bad news is the bad guys don't come in, you know, at Monday morning at 10 o'clock. They're in the end of the month, at the end of the day. And when you talk about speeding up deals, nothing more frustrating than at your busiest time spending an hour with somebody to find out they're trying to steal from you at the end, right? So this platform drives the behavior. I get the driver's license up front. It immediately tells you if it's fake. And I take an hour that I'm burning and actually spending that time with somebody that's going to buy a car and save having to go through the brain damage or repo and one down the road. Also, another thing that we've done to help with fraud is interject a pre-qual up front instead of a hard pull. Not only does that speed up the deal because I'm no longer having to slow down when I get back from that test drive and fill out a credit application, go to the desk, run the hard pull, clear the red flags. I do the pre-qual. I can work that deal as soon as I come back from the test drive, and I can do the hard pull on customers that buy. Because of that, I'm speeding up the deal. I'm reducing friction with the customer. I'm not imposing on them to ding their credit right up front like, you know, previous ways of doing things. And as a result of that, we're here and we're doing deals faster. We're getting more qualified opportunities as opposed to raw leads to the bottom of the funnel.
Wow. Scott, would you like to add any more to that, your thoughts on how it's helped you across your 40 locations?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, typically when you speed up a process like this or try to institute a process, and everybody knows that, you know, the salesperson that's working the deal, he's running up there and I need a trade appraise, I need a credit app, I need this, I need this, I need this, and you want to slow that process down, and it's extremely important so that you don't get sloppy or skip steps, right? And with Informativ, we're doing it the right way every time, and it's really critical to us with 40 locations and 1,500 employees to have that process that we can manage and watch and audit and make sure that it's happening over and over again, and have a tool that it can all be encapsulated in and easy to speed it up. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you for that. Go ahead, Rigo. Mm-hmm.
For us, well, the first thing that I noticed was the savings when you're doing pre-quals and not having to, everybody has trigger and click happy managers that love to pull all three bureaus. We did see a big advantage there, but really what the pre-quals has done for us is take the customer into consideration, right? A better experience of an inquiry. It's hard pull. It's a hard pull, and if we can eliminate some of that and create a better experience for the customer, they notice, and it kind of also in our market, we have a lot of credit unions that we constantly are competing with, and with the pre-qual, we're able to be better informed and often be able to compete with that rate that customer is shopping with. So it allows us to do that without the big commitment from the customer saying, okay, here, let me fill out a full credit app and see what you can do for me. So it's really helped us.
I think just to add to that, it's also important. I mean, number one thing that's important is protecting that customer data, right? We have to protect that customer data. And with all the different locations that we have small stores to big stores, and I would go into these stores and I'd say, okay, where's your dead deal file? Well, we got dead deals on the deals we worked, but what about all the rest of the credit that we had pulled and everybody that never got to that deal process and everything else? And that process wasn't always as streamlined as we would like. So we made sure that with Informativ that the customer data was protected and held in a secure spot that we knew and could audit.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have some exciting news that we would like to share about our new partnership, and Informativ, Comply Auto have partnered together, and we're going to be delivering as of today, right?
Right now.
Yeah, right. The only AI-powered end-to-end compliance platform that solves your kick deals. Anybody get kick deals, right? We're going to solve that in, is it 60 seconds?
About 60 seconds,
Okay, 60 seconds. So Andy, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this game-changing partnership?
Yeah, so about the partnership. So we at Comply Auto have always handled or have handled what starts on the web and goes through the process. We handled FTC safeguards, privacy rights on the website, but what we didn't handle, and this is where the partnership really works with Informativ, is we didn't handle that middle section when the customer's in the dealership going through the buying process, when they need to get their credit checked, when they need to go get their ID verified, when they need to get insurance information, all of those things, credit application. That was the one area that Comply Auto did not really cover. And then that ended also with Informativ. So Informativ got you right up until the credit bureau, they did the red flags checks. So that's fantastic. But there's still that one last step that we didn't do, that Informativ didn't do. So we've solved that now with our Deal Check AI. And so when a customer is done with the process out of F&I, we go ahead and within about 60 seconds run a complete deal jacket. So you've all seen those, they're about this thick. And we check it for all the reasons that might cause a problem later on. Is it a kick deal? Is there a problem with the deal? Is there a possibility that could be unwound because I didn't get a signature or I missed a form and now the customer's in control as opposed to the dealership delivering an excellent experience? So we solve that, and our partnership allows us to do that either with our tool or with the Informativ tool, and it's the last step in that journey.
Doug?
Yeah, so I know we had conversations with both of our other partners here on the impact for their dealership. So I know we talked about it. Everybody has kick deals. So without getting to too many specifics, is there a return on investment for you guys on this? How much impact would that have on your dealership?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I see the dollar signs everywhere when it comes to this, but I'll speak a little bit more towards our current process when it comes to kick deals. I mean, every deal before it goes to finance has a checklist, and your desk manager is responsible to make sure that they check everything off before it gets back there. Finance person does their part. They also have a checklist. Before the deal goes upstairs to our accounting office, it goes back to the desk to check the checklist again. And still, okay, there's an argument between my accounting ladies, my billing ladies, and my desk managers often for missing 1, 2, or 3 forms, whatever the case may be. When Doug shared this new tool, I can't tell you how excited I am to have it. I think this is definitely a game changer, and I'm really excited to play a part of it.
Yeah, for sure it's a game changer for us because, with as many locations as we have, and we also encompass many states. Mm-hmm. And even though our Ford dealerships in a town of 10,000 people, we're actually one of the largest Shelby dealers in the country. So we sell vehicles across the country. And just having the ability to program and make sure that all those deals, whether I'm selling to Iowa, Washington, Illinois, Wisconsin, making sure, and not every F&I manager can be an expert on what is going on with those deals. And then you get to the point where with 40 dealerships, you have a lot of training involved and a lot of things, but you still have people, and ultimately people are trying to get their job done. And what happens is you get a missed signature, the customer's gone, you can't get them back in the door, and that opens you up to mistakes. Can be mistakes, so somebody having an error, right? And you don't want that to happen. So if we can check these deals before the customer ever leaves the dealership or on a remote signing or anything like that, when we have the customer there in front of us, or at least we've been talking to them, it's imperative. And like you said, the kick deals, how much time does that waste? And again, we're also looking at it as we consolidate our operations. What does this do for us to be able to, instead of having a deal biller in every single store checking those deals, now we can have a few expert administrators that are looking at these deals from a centralized location. So
perfect. So all 2 existing client partners, 1 previous client partner, 3 different environments. Lots and lots of cars at a handful of locations, lots and lots of cars at 40 locations, and lots and lots of cars at 6 or 7 locations. And you haven't had the platform, you haven't used it in probably 2 years or since you left. But if you could each share just a few minutes on what the platform did for you, and I'll start with Rigo, because we were there day one when you opened that store and we're doing 1 car, and you went Mach 12 up to 1,300 cars a month, and the platform was there to drive the process from day one. So if you can share any experiences on that, it'd be great.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. So back in 2017, April of 2017, when we opened our doors, we had a vision of how can we provide the customer a better experience? And part of that vision was, no paper. And how can we come up with a process where, you don't see paper anywhere on the showroom floor, anywhere. And at that point, Dealer Safeguard, Informativ, did that for us. We were able to upload credit apps, everything, insurance, WIOs, everything that you normally see, paper lying around, customers' information, right? The exposure of non-public information, to be able to have that, bring it in, and make it part of our process. It was, back then, it was you didn't see it that much. And as time has passed, they've only gotten better. So I've really enjoyed having you part of our success.
Right back at you.
That's right.
But it's definitely changed the game for us.
Scott?
Yeah, ultimately it's, we talk about the FTC rules and all those things like they're the big bad guys, and they're not, right? They have a job to do, and we have a job to do, and that's to protect customer data and to do it in a streamlined and efficient manner. And that's what the tool allows us to do. And just as Rigo said, that paper, every one of those is just opening you up to another example of where you can run into some trouble. And so if we can streamline the process, digitize it, keep it all stored in one place, train on that process easily across locations, now add on to the Comply Auto and the Deal Jacket AI, and you're now starting, last year when we came here to NADA, that was one of our number one goals, is how do we digitize more of our process? Informativ had done a lot for us on that point, but we still had a lot of paper traveling, between the desks, like you said, paper checklists that were going back and everything else. And so how can we digitize more of the process? So these two companies coming together to help do that it's a game changer really for us.
And Andy, you get the added bonus of selling a lot of cars when you were there in the most litigious state of all 50, California. So anything you can share?
Sure. I have a very unique perspective because in the crowd, we're right over there, raise your hand, Chris Cleveland, compliance manager. He worked at Gallup and Ford with me. I was the vice president of sales. He was our compliance manager, so you know how that's a little bit of like oil and water, right? I want to sell cars,
Right.
and he wants to be compliant. But he showed me the light. He convinced the sales managers. It took about 30 days, but after about 30 days, we actually embraced the system, Informativ. And I will tell you this, if I took it away from the managers, even though I'm not there today, I would tell you, they'd say, no, it makes our process better, we're more compliant, we appreciate the compliance, or the added compliance expertise that they bring to the table. I can't get it out of their hands if I wanted to. They love it.
Go. Yep. Go ahead.
So we're running out of time. I would close with one thought. We're all here looking at vendors. As an industry, we spent obscene amounts of dollars on technology over the years. Just to frame it in, two biggest DMS vendors, Reynolds and CDK, last year their combined revenues were just under $4 billion. That's not counting CRM, desking, menu, equity mining, digital retailing. We spend money on things like key machines because we can't get a salesperson to bring a key back and put it where they got it, right? On a $400 key fob. These three customers have spent money investing in technology to lock down the process. And I would say it's safe to say, and if any of you disagree, if you want to, that they've made a transition from hoping that things get done in 4 showrooms, to knowing that it's done right every time. So if there's one takeaway, it's we need to spend some money on automating the most expensive, the most regulated, the most complicated transaction we do, which is selling a car. And that's rarely managed today other than when it gets to the back end of it.
That's right. So thank you, everyone, for joining, and you are welcome. Please come stop by our booths and take a look at the entire platform together. We appreciate your time, and we're this way. Thank you.